So we're going to talk about some stuff. We're here with Justin Smeja. So we've been having a few beers. I tried to get him drunk and see what I can get out of him, but I just ended up being the drunk one. So let's start with the drive to where the incident happened.
We got into a fight with some tourists. We had pulled up to, I think it's called Salmon Lake, something like that, or maybe it was Sardine Lake. But we were right there, and some tourists come up, and I guess we were in their way because they told us like we were in their bicycle path or something. It was weird. They're like, "You're in the path," and like, then go around me. And then they're like, "Sir, you can't be in the path," and it was weird. So that. They got us onto a weird note, and I got in a shoving match with some guy, but that doesn't really have anything to do with anything.
Also, before... okay, have you ever broken the law?
I have no criminal record. I mean, I've sped here and there, and like everybody, but I don't have any criminal record. I don't have any... No, I mean, I was running to be in law enforcement for several years, constantly falling just short of the physical stuff that they require, like being in shape. But now I don't have any criminal record so far.
Your brother's in law enforcement, right?
Yeah, my brother's a CHP, policeman in California. Yeah.
Okay, we're kind of listening now. What do people know? Who is Justin Smeja? Who is Justin Smeja? What do people know you for?
I go hunting and I go fishing. That's it. I mean, that's all that I do.
But what made you infamous? Infamous. Not famous, but infamous.
You're talking about the Sasquatches? Or?
Yeah. What is it? It actually now has... It has a name. The event is...
Oh, the Sierra Kills.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure who came up with that. I actually don't know. But the Sierra Kills.
That's what you're most famous for now, right?
It looks that way. Yeah.
Well, okay. You see something in the road.
Well, no. See, that's really.
Okay. Well, okay. Take me to where.
Okay, so
we've talked all night, and
yeah, I guess it never really.
We never actually talked about the beginning.
There's like so many people that have said it was in the road, and I'm like, who gave you this conclusion?
Right.
But no, we were road hunting. We do it from time to time. We had decided to leave for the day. We were done at this particular spot. And so we're pretty much driving out. We had seen this buck. He was like a forky. Like, he was a 1.5-year-old. I mean, he had a fork and he had a spike, but he wasn't quite what we were looking for. My buddy decided to pass it for the day. He was just a younger deer. We typically try to go with 2.5 to 4.5-year-old deer, or hopefully older or bigger. But we had passed on this buck. Then we came around the corner. We decided to call it a day. It was probably 4:30, 5:30. I don't know. October, an hour and a half before dark, whenever that happens to be. And we got this one turn that we always take. It's got this great big meadow, and I mean, it's perfect. Up there, though, and this is where people get the idea of the road, there's several spots where it's straight up and straight down. You're talking about going from 7,500 feet to 5,000 feet. I mean, it is straight up, Haskell Peak. You can Google the hill. I mean, it's straight up and straight down. And there's roads that cut through the middle of that. And so because of that, all day we had seen the shit in the road that... I'm not saying it was Sasquatch shit or anything of the kind. I'm just saying, I know what bear shit looks like. I know what horse shit looks like. I know what lion shit looks like. I know that for sure. I've been around. It was not that. That's all I was saying.
Yeah. You've been hunting
my whole life. I mean, since I was 2 or 3, I've been, going out in the woods.
But you weren't even thinking about anything at that point.
We were thinking this isn't right. There are piles that are, I don't want to exaggerate.
Big mounds of shit.
This big.
Yeah.
That.
It's a lot of shit.
Yeah. And we were seeing them. It started at like 8 o'clock in the morning on Forest Road 09. We were driving that, and It started that early in the morning. We started seeing this. We're like, what is that? We were kind of just trying to decide between bear and lion because it has to be one of these, but I knew for a fact it wasn't. So it kind of put us on guard because we must have seen like 40 of these piles in the middle of the road. I mean, it just didn't make sense. It was like there was a sick bear. That's what made probably most sense to me.
Were you walking on this road or driving?
No, we're driving on the road. But I mean, the hills here, the bottom of the hills here, it goes straight in the middle, and that's where they cut the road. So the roads gradually go up to the top of the mountain so tourists or something can look. I don't know, maybe fire roads. I'm not sure if they even have fires at that elevation. So we're up at a super high elevation. Oh, well, not super high. I mean, the incident happened at 7,200 feet. Everybody knows that, or I've told it before. So we'd taken this, it's a left turn from where we were going, and we had gone around the corner. There's the big meadow. We go past the meadow. And it wasn't in the road, but it was just off the road, maybe 80 yards. I was on the right-hand side. I was the passenger, and they had what they call the driver, my good buddy. Yeah, and then we had seen whatever we saw. I mean, it's kind of like a blind meadow because you got trees that line up, and then you got this big meadow over here, but you start with this big meadow right here. So you take this turn, and you got a big open meadow, and then you got trees that are blocking your view of this perfect feeding area where the game kind of gets trapped because it goes straight down, and then you got this big wide open meadow. So they're all going to be right there. It's almost like a trap for the animals. And it was probably an hour and a half before dark. It wasn't like the magic hour, but it was, animals were starting to move.
Right.
So we're pretty much expecting to see a bear in a spot. And instead we saw
at this point in time.
Yeah,
So what was your first thing? Oh, there's something, or
yeah,
holy shit,
there's movement. Because there's movement, it's not a human. I'm jumping out. I mean, this stuff happens quick. People, 3-4 seconds, a lot happens in there. And 3-4 seconds, I'm already chambered, got a foot on the ground, and the rifle out the window. Tops. I mean, it didn't take a lot of time. And I got I think it's called a Barasco scope. So I'm the passenger. And, I'm looking off to the right into this opening, this big meadow that goes pretty much, I mean, it's pretty straight down afterwards. So you got this big feeding area, this big green area, then it goes up to a hill. So we know right where whatever's going to be. We didn't have deer tags for that area. We had deer tags for across the road. Not that it matters. Who cares if I was poaching? That's the one thing I don't get. What's it matter if I was poaching? Either I'm lying or I'm telling the truth, but if I'm poaching, I'm a bad guy. Yeah. Okay, well, somebody who shoots a little Sasquatch probably isn't a great guy to start with. Right. We can assume that from the story. Okay. Like, no, I'm just honest. Just
we'll get to that.
What does it matter if I'm poaching though?
I don't know. I don't know if it matters.
If I'm doing something illegal,
we're trying to
call Fish and Game, say, hey, this guy that does work for you, he's up here and he's poaching and he did this and that. See how far that gets you. Yeah. So I do a lot of work for Fish Side Point. Yeah.
All right. So you see something. You're still. You think it's a bear at this point, or you think it before you dive?
At this point, I'm not. It must be a bear because I saw movement and it's brown and it's not a deer. Like I've established that much just from my peripheral vision. Then I'm chambering. You almost fall into it because you open the truck and then it's lifted. Yeah. It's 35 on it, and so you fall into it and you're looking at it. It is. Is that funny? Right. It's got a 6-inch lift. It's got 35s on it. I mean, it's kind of a fall. Yeah. And so you open the door and you kind of fall into it, and I'm sitting there looking at this and I'm like, my buddy's like, bro, don't shoot. Hey, bro, no. Hey, yeah, hey. And he wants to like make sure he's like getting louder and louder, like immediately. He's like, hey, because he's waiting for the gun to go off because at that point, 6-7 seconds into it, the gun's usually gone off. I mean, bears don't just wander in meadows. They hear the truck. It goes real quick. Right. and you can shoot from the road. Not that it matters.
So he's
It's
saying
not considered a road. It's a dirt road. It's not considered a path.
there's no pavement. So he's saying, don't shoot. You're looking through your scope. What's going through your mind right now?
This ain't right. This ain't right. I would have felt the same way if I seen a hyena, or maybe even a unicorn or something. You know, I mean, it literally, that should not be here. If I saw a hyena in the woods, I'd kill it. I mean, it shouldn't be there.
Right.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
He's agreeing. See, you hear this?
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with all of this so far.
Yeah.
There's a part, though, I'm going to ask you about, and I think you know what's coming. At some point in the next few seconds, your partner says, it's a man in a suit.
Yeah. Yeah, so my buddy's like, hey, don't shoot. And I'm like, you know, he keeps giving this order with no reason behind it. He's like, it's a man in a suit. And I'm sitting there looking at it, and I'm like, that's exactly what it looks like. I mean, that's what it looked like. It looked like a man in a suit. But when I watch, best way I can describe it is Patterson Gimlin. Mm-hmm. It looks like a man in a suit. There's no... Yeah. That's what it looks like. I'm not saying it is.
Reference.
Yeah. People's like, oh, it's graceful. I don't see that.
Yeah.
I don't.
I'm on the fence about that myself. So.
Yeah, I don't see it being graceful. I see it looking like a man in a suit. I'm not saying it is. It's just that's what it looked like we saw. And he's like, it's a man in a suit. It's a man in a bear suit. And so that was like the first place his mind went, and mine was like, this looks like a person in a bear suit.
All right.
And I'm sitting there thinking, you know what? If it is, fuck him. I mean, really? Like somebody walking around in the woods with a bear suit on.
Is it that easy to say fuck them though?
What logical reason is there for that?
Well, you also say that you're a Christian. Is knowing it? So
sure.
If you're a Christian, you know it's a man in a suit, and you say fuck them.
If it was a man in a suit.
If it was a man in a suit.
Sure.
That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
I guess. I mean, I feel like I made a very poor decision, but you're asking me from where my mind was at the time, and I'll try my best to tell you.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I made a good decision. No, there's really no question about that. But that's where I was. I was like, if this is a man in a suit, fuck him. Because I started looking around for film crews. I mean, that's literally the first place my mind went, was like, oh, we're coming up to a movie, they're filming something.
And you were still considering shooting this at pulling the trigger at this point in time. Even looking around for a movie crew, you're in your head, you're still going.
I'm looking at why I didn't see the movie crew. I felt like I ruled that out.
Okay.
I guess that's not. It's not. Yeah. It's not speaking wonders for my character, but it is what it is.
No, it is what it is.
That's how I felt. Just like the poaching.
We've.
Who cares? That has nothing to do with anything.
Right. This kind of has something to do with it, though.
No, I just mean if I'm poaching, that has nothing to do with what did or didn't happen that day.
Okay.
Yes. This. Yeah. My frame of mind was, I'm looking for the film crew. I'm not seeing the film crew. I'm thinking
we're being lighthearted about it and stuff, and I'm smiling and smirking and stuff. But you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. Yeah, like, so are you just this like?
Yeah, fuck him. I'm gonna shoot this dude.
Yeah.
Is that going through your head?
No. I'm ruling that option out. We're probably on second 12, maybe 13. I don't know.
No, the brain works really fast. I'm with you.
Yeah,
right there.
yeah. I'm just like, it can't be. I mean, if for whatever reason this was, then I guess I'd get over it. I guess is probably where I'm at. And so I'm sitting there thinking, like, this is a monster. It is literally a monster. And it's got his hands in the air. And me and my buddy kind of differ on, like, what the opinion was, because his hands are right here. And was it, like, in an aggressive pose? It was moving towards us. I mean, it was definitely walking towards us.
An orangutan might kind of.
I have no idea. I don't know what that looks like.
Right.
But I mean, about right here. Yeah, was it like an aggressive pose, doing something? Could we not hear it? I didn't hear any sounds. Right. but maybe the truck overshadowed them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea. Or was it doing like a, hey, wow,
So
we're
you're only
people.
you only see one.
Yeah, I only see one thing.
Okay.
Yeah, which was
One
whatever.
Sasquatch.
Yeah, I guess.
So
Yeah.
at this point, you're thinking it's either a Sasquatch or a dude in a suit, or
I'm thinking that it's a
mushroom.
monster.
Yeah.
I don't know that Sasquatch ever. I just don't know if I ever talked to anybody that
Yeah.
said the word Sasquatch
So
in my lifetime.
You've never had a
Finding Bigfoot wasn't on the air.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Like,
You've never had a Bigfoot conversation in your life up to this point.
I don't believe I had. Like, I can swear on my daughter's life, I'm pretty effing sure that I haven't.
Okay. Fair enough. Second 13, second 14.
Yeah, so somewhere in there, my buddy knows that the gun's getting ready to go off because we've done this a lot. He has a lot of experience in life, I guess, the army, the war and all that. He has a lot of experience there, but he doesn't have much experience when it comes to hunting. Well, I mean, he's killed plenty of stuff with me, don't get me wrong. But if I've killed 100 deer, who's killed 10? I'm sitting there, safety's already been off at that point, and I'm squeezing.
Okay.
I know it's getting ready to go off.
Right.
And I'm sitting there thinking, this is a monster. It's not right. I mean, it's not right.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, we can kill it. I'd feel the same way if I saw, a lot of animals out there. It was an animal. I mean, to me it was, at least at the time.
So by second 14, 15, you've determined that this is an animal.
It's a monster. That's,
Or a
that's where my frame of mind was.
Yeah.
I mean, when you see this thing, it's unnatural. It was white. It was very light colored overall.
Hairy?
Yeah. No, I mean,
light colored skin.
I
When you say white,
don't know if I could see skin. I mean, it looked like a coyote.
Uh-huh.
Like if you took a bunch of coyotes, put them together, and made a suit. I mean, that's what it looked like to me. I mean, I definitely couldn't see any skin or nothing like that.
Okay. How many more seconds go by before you pull the squeeze?
Somewhere around then, I mean, I'm squeezing.
What's the last stop before you pull the trigger?
When's it going to go off? Because it felt like an eternity. I mean, it felt like time had stopped. I'm waiting for the gun to go off. Waiting for it. My buddy's starting to like it. He's like, don't shoot. It's like, he'd like stop for a second, like wait, like we're waiting for the big boom. I mean, we all knew what was going to happen. Like
He knew you were going to pull the trigger. Is what you're
oh
saying.
yeah, he was. Yeah, he had seen me do it too many times.
So why would you not listen to your spotter?
I felt like I had more experience than he did. I mean, about 90% more experience in the woods. Yeah, he might have had more experience with people, with war, with the army and this and that. But whatever this was, I wasn't a person. I mean, it just wasn't. So gun's getting ready to go off, and I'm waiting for it, and it starts to turn a little bit because I had the crosshairs about, probably center mass, and it turned a little bit. I don't know if it was getting ready to run at that point. I don't know, but it turned a little bit, and that's when I got it right there. Then I pulled it back a little bit harder, and you just you're squeezing, you kind of give it a jerk, and it goes off usually where you want it to. Then it went down, it hit the ground, and then it starts, kind of like flopping and kicking, which is exactly what you want to see. Like you want to see it, and it starts flopping and kicking, and all of a sudden it gets up onto all fours. It's gotten and it's starting to run, and then it's starting to block it, and it's falling. I mean, it's
running on all fours, or mostly trying to run on two.
It was staggering. I mean, no different than if I'd shot a person, for sure. Like if you shoot, and you just, it was staggering over the hill.
Now, as you're watching this, are you
as I'm watching this,
or
no, I mean, like 4 seconds had gone by, maybe. I mean, it's not a lot of time. It hits the ground, and I have another round racked in there, and it's going over the hill, and I can see its ass, and I can see where I could put one straight up its asshole, which is actually a really good shot because you don't hit any bone. It goes straight in there and ends up somewhere in here and just messes them up.
So you cock your gun again?
Yeah. So I got a bolt action. I got a 25-06, which, by the way, like, this is one of the things that kind of just rubs me the wrong way. I get really, really tired of hearing it. Is people tell me, they're like, oh, well, a 25-06, that's not really a big enough gun. I'm like, do you have any fucking clue what you're talking about? You know how many deer, how many bear, how many pigs, how many 400-pound pigs, how many deer I've killed with that same rifle? I mean, a couple hundred. We're not talking about, oh, well, I killed like 7 deer with it.
Yeah.
No, they all drop dead. My dad's got a 30-06, and it doesn't do nearly the damage this 25-06 does. It's a smaller bullet, but it's going quicker. So it's got a little pencil hole in. It's got a big basketball hole size out. Whereas the 30-06 is consistent all the way through. It looks like this coming in, looks like this coming out. Beside the point. But for the people that have been, like, it's been getting old, because like, oh, this gun's not big enough. Like, really? It's weird. How's a 300-pound bear any different than a 150-pound human?
Right.
Or 300-pound.
At this point, what was there a guesstimate on its weight at this point?
I think it was 600 pounds. Okay. I'm basing that off of the pigs that I've seen. I've seen a lot of pigs growing up in Northern California. I've done my share of pig hunting from Texas. I've seen a lot of pigs, and I'm basing it mostly off of that. But if you look at a coyote and you look at a lab, and you have 2 people that know coyotes and 2 people that know labs guess the weight of the other, they won't even get it even similar. I mean, a lab might weigh 85 pounds, a coyote might weigh 35, 30. And they'll both look huge, and both stand shoulder to shoulder next to each other. Just different animals. So in that aspect, I don't know how much it weighed. I think it was about 600 pounds. Okay. If I had to guess, 7.5 feet tall. I know because the manzanita bushes are super tall. And it stood like shoulder to shoulder with them.
All right, so it's floundering, it hits the ground.
Yeah, it's getting ready to go over the hill, actually. So it hits the ground.
Making it fast, okay.
Yeah, it's getting ready to go over. I racked one in. I'm sitting there squeezing, and I got it to a T. I mean, it's gonna die. That second shot's gonna kill it, and it's gonna go pretty much straight up its asshole because it's just getting out of sight. I knew that I had this thing, and again, I'm just thinking whatever mindset. This thing needs to die. It's not natural. No, it's not right. It's a monster. It shouldn't be here. Whatever this is, let's kill it. And then my buddy says, no, wait! But he says it in like such a panic that was like, I actually did, whereas before I didn't really listen to him. And I had the kill. I mean, it would have dropped right there. Bet my life on it. And I look, and there's 2 more of them that appear out of the brush. Buck brush, I think they call it. Maybe it was manzanita. But it appeared out of the brush and started taking off after the adult, I guess, running towards it. And they all disappeared over the hill. So we drive a little bit in there. We can't really drive anymore. So we take off on foot into this meadow.
Why are you chasing it at this point? Even though at this point...
we just wanted to find the adult. We figured, I felt like it was a kill shot. I mean, from what we heard it crash. I mean, like, so it's running over the hill. He's like, no, wait. And so I don't take that last shot. We see the kids or whatever they are. I mean, they're about, that tall. We see them. They're all running over there. They're just getting out of range. So we drive a little bit further, run off after them. So we drive a little bit further. We start walking after them. My buddy didn't even grab his rifle. We were pretty sure this thing was on the ground dead. I mean, very sure, I guess. 100%. Because we heard that crash just as it went out of sight. Sounds like a car wreck. I mean, it's big. So I feel pretty good about it. We got something on the ground. Let's go take a look, I guess. And we got our adrenaline's going. We're basically living in a nightmare. we go over there and we're like looking and looking. We're expecting to see it like right into the brush. We're expecting to see it right there. And all of a sudden, we're like, my buddy's like, oh, there, right. You know, I hear a lot, like, you know, and I look and I saw it just as he did. I mean, they're freaking 10 yards from us, 30 feet. I mean, close, like from one side of the street to the other. And they're the kids, the things, the little monkey type little kids, whoever they are. So I'm just looking at this like, I mean, they're close. And they don't seem that concerned that we're there. They're walking around looking for their parent. So we are too. So this goes on for approximately. They would you know come together. Oh no, and then split up.
So you heard them talking.
I guess that's what it sounded like. Yeah, it was communication. Yes. Yeah, they're going. No. I mean, if you've ever heard a deaf person trying to talk, that's what it sounded like. Just no, like a real deep, but not. It just doesn't. It sounds almost like a cow. Just no. And you could tell they were saying like, "Hey, have you seen mom? Have you seen dad? Or whatever it was." I mean, there was no question about the communication. Just like there's no question when you walk up to your dog and you've seen them at the end of the day. They weren't mind speaking to me or they weren't, because the other people are like, so you could tell what they were saying. No, it was obvious.
It was obvious.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're saying that, and they split up. They walk around, and we're not even really paying two shits about them. We're walking around, looking, like, oh, so I ended up telling my buddy, hey, go down over here, and then we heard some mountain quail jump up, and I was like, oh, well, maybe they're over there, maybe something scared. So he walks down over here, and I walk over here. And I decided at some point, fuck it, let's just shoot one of these little ones. We'll just take one of these homes.
Why? Why?
What do you mean? Why?
What takes
to be done with this?
What's going through your head? Why do you say fuck it? Let's be done with this. Have you even put together in your head what's going on yet? Or you're in a panic? Or what's your frame of mind now?
If we go home and if we go home and tell somebody this, they're never going to believe us. I mean, this is. Might as well shoot one of the little ones and take it with us.
Okay.
Is that pretty bad?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
And so at some point that crossed my mind, and so I pull up. I probably only 2 or 3 minutes into it actually, and I pull up and I like steady on one. I mean, they're close. It's not going to take much. My buddy's like, no, there's no reason for this. We already have one on the ground. Stop. Okay. He's like, no, seriously, think about it. There is no reason for this. We'll find the other one. We'll go. All right. We start looking. These things, they're getting pretty close. They're getting like 5 yards sounds far, but it's not. Not when you're talking about a wild 15, animal. Yeah.
15 feet away. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's not. That's one side of the room to the other. That's way too close. You don't see deer that close. You don't see bears that close. They were close. And I don't even know if they were that. I mean, they might have been 10 yards, but it's still this too close. I mean, way too close. So I'm sitting there looking at this like this ain't right. They're walking, saying, oh, they're splitting up. So I decided I'm going to shoot one. My buddy freaks out. Hey, we can't do this. This is wrong. So we end up splitting up. And then I decided I'm going to take one that's like, I was probably 20 yards away at this point. Wasn't really paying attention. So I pull up on it. I'm squeezing. My buddy's like, really? No. Okay, cool. Hey, it was standing there. Sorry. Because he happened to walk up and see me pointing at it right there. And then at a certain point, he went way down the hill because it goes. I mean, it is like, it's hard to walk up. Mm-hmm. I guess it's not like a cliff or nothing, but it's hard to walk up. So he goes down there, and one of them walks up, and it's like on an incline, like the top of the hill, kind of, but only maybe 15 feet from me.
Okay.
Like, fuck it, let's kill one of these things. Yeah. No. So I mean, I was just like, it was just like a hunting mode. It wasn't like a.
But fuck it, let's just kill one of these things. You you're still in hunting mode. You're not looking in its eyes or anything like that. You haven't made any decisions other than it's a monster. It shouldn't be here.
The kids it was a little different. It was like, these things are nasty. Let's kill one.
Nasty how?
It's so hard to describe.
Right.
But it wasn't right. They're not supposed to be there. That's how I felt about it at the time. I'm trying to put myself. I mean, I feel like I'm a changed person. I'm trying to put myself. You're asking what happened. I'm trying to tell you.
No, we've been having an honest conversation all night.
Yeah.
I like I told you, I'm still not 100% committed
Sure.
to your story.
That's fine.
I need to hear more.
No, that's fine.
I'm asking these questions.
I'm good with that.
You haven't pulled the trigger yet on the little one.
Yeah. So I know that my buddy's way down the hill, and I'm like, if he doesn't see it, it's I guess not gonna hurt his feelings too much. He was just acting like he was like all like Vagina about the whole thing. He was like, "Oh, let's not shoot the little ones." I was like, oh.
So he's in a different mindset than you are.
Yeah, like these things are people, and I'm like, they're animals. We don't usually like to shoot young ones, but nobody's gonna believe us if we don't bring one back, and they keep getting really close. And then this one comes up. It's like a straight uphill. You'll see it, and then you'll be able. I mean, it's straight uphill, but I mean, it's just as high as your roof is. It's not that high. Not the ceiling, the roof.
Yeah,
but,
gotcha.
Yeah. And it's getting closer, and it's kind of getting. It's making some noise or something. I can't really remember. I mean, it's making some sounds, and so I center it and I start squeezing. I center the rifle. Start squeezing and right here, the center of the neck, because I figured I didn't want to mess up the skull, but didn't want to blow apart the body. I don't know. It seemed logical at the time. So I start squeezing. Keep in mind, they're about, probably about that big.
Wow.
Maybe.
That's pretty big for an infant. It's like 3.5 feet tall. That's what. Yeah.
I guess.
Well, I guess it wouldn't
like
be an infant. It'd be more.
35 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like 35 pounds. Maybe no more than 40 because I remember.
And it looks completely different than the adult.
Oh yeah, yeah. These things look like little monkeys. I mean, they're nasty. They're like, ain't right.
Yeah.
And they got these like weird noses, and they're just it is what it is. As far as I'm concerned, at least. So I decide I'm shooting it. I start squeezing. And it gets pretty close. It gets like really close, and I'm like, oh shit, this is weird. This isn't right. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. So I shoot it right in the neck. And it rolls down the hill. That's how steep this hill was. I mean, it's like up here, like right here. I'm like this. And it rolls down the hill and lands right at my feet. I stop it from rolling down the rest of the way, which is only a couple feet. Down into like where the meadow starts, and it hit my boots, and it's sitting there, and I'm like trying to figure out that it's dead for sure before I reach down and grab it. And I reach down and grab it. I'm sitting there looking at it like this, like its head's like right here. I'm sitting there looking at it, like, fuck, what happened? Because like you really start to like look into, well, I'm not gonna get all weird or spiritual or nothing, but you look into their eyes and it's different. It's like these things are little kids. And so I'm sitting there looking at it, and it's like coughing up that blood. And anytime you shoot an animal in the neck, it's there, like coughs up. It's coughing up the last bit of blood. And a bunch of stuff happened, but I mean, it ended up 2 or 3 minutes later, it ended up expiring. Well, actually,
wow, it's a pretty long time for it to.
Yeah, a bunch.
Yeah. You didn't think about putting that. You were
just. I was pretty much just sitting there staring at it.
So now you're in a different state of mind. You're just like, what the hell's going on? You went from hunting mode
to this ain't right. Well, what did I do? Yeah. Real quick, real sobering moment. And I'm sitting there holding it. I don't remember if it was before or after it expired. It was somewhere in there. I remember looking at the eyes real good. I remember certain parts, but some of it was kind of foggy looking back at it. My buddy walks up the hill and was like, really? Because he'd held out for the hope that I'd found the big one. He's walking up the hill hoping that I found the big one and just gave it a last shot. He's like, really? Really? So you just had to shoot one? He said that. He was like, I'm like, screw you. And so I threw it at him. It's dead. Mm-hmm. But I just threw it towards him and started walking up the hill because I was like, you don't know what I'm going through. You don't know anything about this. That's kind of like the attitude I had. But I said, screw you, and just like throw it as far as I could. It was pretty far. It was like here at the end of that wall, 6-7 feet. Mm-hmm. And I start walking back towards the truck. I'm just like, whatever. He's going to freaking get on me for shooting one of these freaking animals. We're not even supposed to be here in the first. We don't even know what these things are. He's going to sit here, let's not shoot them. Let's not shoot them. Oh. So I get like 20 feet away. I look back, and he's sitting there holding it the same freaking way I was, like, just looking at it. I guess the eyes are probably closed at that point. Maybe he was locked in there. Maybe a lot of them die with their eyes open. Not them, but animals. Mm-hmm. And so I walk back, and I'm like, well, you just shot twice. There's only a matter of time before Fish and Game pulls around the corner. Because we're in a fairly popular area, which is kind of a lot. Definitely not rational thinking. Like, yeah, Fish and Game's going to pull around the corner. Well, we shoot all the time, and they never pull around the corner. But if they were there, if they were within 2 or 3 or 4 mile radius, which is 100 people, there's a lot of people 4 mile radius. That's huge. So I thought, screw it. Let's hide it and come back. Let's get out of here. We need to get out of here before we get caught. We're going to get a lot of freaking trouble for this.
Why are you thinking you're getting in trouble?
Because you just killed some little kids.
So
Kid.
Yeah.
And the parent.
You felt that at that point you were thinking this is somewhat human at that point? Is that what you're thinking? Or it's just not an animal?
They're very human. No, and I'm not making a statement about them, but that's how I felt at the time. That they're very, very, very human. Is all I could think of. Is like, I just killed like my distant cousin almost. Like that idea of like something. It's they ain't that different.
So now you just make your way back to the truck and you leave.
No, so at that point I said, screw it, let's hide this thing. We'll come back in a day or two. So we walk into like this buckbrush or whatever it's called. We still haven't figured that out. Walk in there, put it down on the base of it, and pile a couple things on top of it. Walk back up to the truck, drive to Sierraville without stopping at all or talking. From there, we got a pack of cigarettes. We both hadn't smoked for about 6 months, I think. Somewhere in there, we both recently quit. Went in and got a pack. Got back in the car. Didn't say a word, which is weird because we both got it, walked in there and got our. It was just kind of like the moment.
At this point, do you even put together like maybe this is what people call Bigfoot? This must be a Sasquatch.
On the way back, my mind's kind of racing, but I'm just thinking, what the fuck? Like, yeah, on the way back, like it was somewhere around then that I was like, so that show, Harry and the Hendersons. That's the only time I believe that I heard the word Bigfoot.
Really?
I don't know how old I was. It just come out.
Yeah.
It was popular. That's the only. I remember like looking back, like thinking, like, well, what if there was like a human, like man thing out there? We didn't say a word the whole way home.
What happens when you get home to your wife?
We just walked in, went to bed like normal, and didn't say a word. At that point, it was probably 9 o'clock at night or something. It's a little ways from Sacramento.
Yeah. So you never saw the adult again. You never saw the body or anything.
No, eventually, like somewhere between guilt and shame, like a couple weeks, a couple days. Somewhere between like guilt and shame, I like got caught up in it, and I was like, all right, I got to tell somebody. gotta talk to somebody about this. So I went on the taxidermy forum, which was just like that. I'd been posting on there for probably a year on and off, just trying to learn a different trade, a hobby. Wasn't really a big deal. So I've been posting on there for a long time, and they got this general campfire section like they do in a lot of forums. Hey, what do you want to talk about that's off topic? And so I posted on there. So if you guys saw a Bigfoot, would you shoot it? And I'm just reading on there. There's a bunch of like people that are like, well, I've seen one. I'm like, really? And there's other people that are like, yeah, that's nonsense. So then there's another guy that's like, yeah, I've seen them too. But these guys are all people that have spent their whole lives in the woods. Taxidermists, they got a feel for wildlife. They're obsessed with hunting, and they're so obsessed with it that they wanted to make a career out of hunting, but they knew they couldn't, so they got into taxidermy. These are all guys that spent a lot of time in the woods. There was a lot of them that were saying stuff, and so a couple pages goes by, so I check a couple days later, I'm like, so there was this thing, it was like 7 feet tall, and I shot it. It ran off. I never really found it. That's all I really said. And I get an email from a guy, hey, so can I talk to you about this? I said, sure. And everybody else just kind of went along with they just acted like they didn't read it and kept going. Like, well, I saw one once. Well, I didn't see one because they're fake. Yeah. And I just went back and forth. And this guy calls me and he's like, all right, tell you what. I won't tell anybody if you just tell me what happened. I said,
famous last words.
I said, oh, no problem. You're not going to tell anybody? No, man. I said, right on. So I was dying to tell somebody. So I leave the room. I go outside because I didn't want my wife to hear any of it. Told him the whole story. I said, wow, that's interesting. Okay, well, all right, well, I got to get off the phone here. Whatever. He said, whatever. So I call, 20 minutes later, my phone rings. We get off the phone. 20 minutes later, my phone rings. Derek Randall's is on the phone. Hey, I'm a Bigfoot investigator. I need to talk to you. Yeah. He's all, I'm a Bigfoot, like literally, I think that's what was his opening line. My name is Derek Randalls. I'm a Bigfoot investigator. I need to talk to you. Just give me a call, And so I ended up talking to the guy, and we kind of connected right away. We just had a like mindset and a lot of things. And he's like, you need to get up there and you need to find this thing. I'm like, well, I don't think that's going to happen because I don't really want to go back there. I was like, no, you don't understand. I'm like, you don't understand. You weren't there. And he's like, well, so we pretty much argue or, just talk back and forth for several days. I mean, weeks, I guess. And eventually I'm like, all right, so I'll tell you what, I'll go up there on Saturday. And he's like, no, you don't understand. You need to go up there right now. I'm like, I have a job and I'll get fired if I don't go to work. And I'm not listening to some guy on the phone. So I end up going up there with my buddy, and we got like these contractor trash bags, these like, the big black contractor bags. And I'm like, so we'll just load the thing up, the little one, because we know where we hit that. We'll load that up in there. Then we'll drive straight to Washington, meet Derek, and I guess fill our pockets full of money or something. I don't know.
Right. All right, so now you're up there and you're with your
Yeah. So it's been a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And I go up there with my bloodhound because I'm like, this is going to be so freaking easy. Yeah, want to go up too?
Oh, I thought I did.
You want one? So I go out there with my bloodhound, and she's been trained on bears and coons and all that shit. And I'm like, this is going to be pretty easy. We're gonna go make a bunch of money. This is gonna be really quick. Like, we had plans for like dinner that night. Like, we're like, hey, so you want to stop at like Reading or and we go up there and there's like 2.5 to 3 feet of snow on the ground. Like, oh shit, we didn't think about this because it had been snowing. And so we're like, shit, well, what are we going to do now? Well, let's just dig through it. It'll be worth the money. Like, it'll all pay off. So we start digging with the shovels, and if you've ever dug in snow, it's cold. It's like a new level.
It's cold and it's hard. I've had to...
Well, you're touching metal. Yeah.
Sucks.
It's a new
winding,
level.
And it's winding, too. You're like tired after like 2 minutes.
Yeah, especially being at 70, 200 feet. I mean, it was very exhausting. And perhaps all day we spent up there. I even told Derek, I was like, all right, I'll text you when I have the body in my hands. He's like, cool, can you send me a picture? I'm like, no issue. It's no problem, man. At this point, like, I sound so confident just because I know where I left it. That's where the confidence is coming from. People are like, well, why didn't you take a picture before? Like, why would you need to take a picture if you hide something? You'll be able to go back and get it. And that's still how I felt about it. Like, that's... So we figure out, all right, well, we can't find shit. And so I'm taking my bloodhound around, and she's acting kind of funny. Like, she's acting like that moment, like when she pisses the bed. Well, she only did it when she was a puppy, but like she pisses the bed, and you like grab her and throw just a little throw. That sounds really bad. You know, like the dog's pissing the bed, and you're grabbing it and throwing it off the bed.
Beat animals.
Yeah,
Shoot a guy in a suit. Whatever.
Wow. No, just like a little abuse.
All right. Yeah, just a little.
Sounds so much worse than it is. But that moment when they're getting punished, when they're embarrassed, when there's shame, right. She kept acting that way. Like, oh, shit, I just pissed on the bed and I haven't told you yet because you're in the living room. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, she was just acting unnerved. So we figure out there's a certain area she's not liking. Like, I'm just walking with her, and then she'd turn right. And so okay, well, let's go back. And then she turned left. And we figured, okay, she doesn't like this area right here. Let's do it right here. We found nothing. So we did that with like 3 other areas. And then we came up with what some people call a stake. And I called Derek, and he was like pretty jazzed. He was like, all right. I'm like, no, so we don't get money for this. He's like, no, we said a skull. I'm like, oh, okay, well, we tried. Yeah. No big deal. We'll move on.
So you're pretty confident that the stake that you found
was
from...
relatively the same color and exactly the same area that we heard the crash from. I don't see how it could be anything different. If you shoot, like I say, a cow, a deer, or an elk, and you come back a month later, or a week later, or 2 months later, you'll find lots of shit. You'll find lots of stuff. And if you come back a month later, especially at that high elevation, yeah, you'll find lots of hide. I mean, you'll find big, thick pieces of fat and fur. Some people say you won't, so I don't know what they're talking about because they haven't killed a lot of animals. Mm-hmm. That's a fact.
I haven't killed a lot of animals. So
no, I've heard that argument. Yeah. How are you going to come back a month later? I'm like, really? Because I put down a lot of cows for one reason or another, and you come back and there's still a whole cow there. You come back the next day, and yeah, you're like, wow, where'd 80% of it go? Come back the next day, where'd 90% of it go? And then the rest of it takes a long time to disappear, especially the bones. But yeah, I don't know where the bones were.
Okay, so
so
you find this.
Yep.
You call Derek.
Yeah, he's stoked, and he says, "Tell you what, just cut a little piece off, maybe this big, and whatever it is, that thick or whatever, and the hair. Like I said, just cut a quarter size. Okay." And send it to Melba Ketchum, buddy. Okay. Say, what's wrong with that?
No, I'm not. We're not going there.
Yeah, I say, what's wrong with that? That sounds like a fine idea. Okay. So I ended up cutting off a piece. I think I wrapped it in tinfoil, I want to say, and froze it, or maybe it was paper. I don't remember, whatever the instructions we were given to wrap it up in. The stuff I have now is frozen in a brick, but a brick of ice. That way no moisture gets to it. You could freeze a steak in the middle of ice. What about it'd be the same in 10 years.
All the stories about the MIBs and things like that, you want to put that to rest? People thinking that the government's trying to shut this whole thing down?
I don't know. I mean, I felt like we posted it online. We were like, I don't know. I guess they weren't interested in me.
All right, so you do have photos of the I guess we'll call it a steak.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a piece of hide.
And it looks, and some people have put it next to a piece of black bear and piece of coyote, and they look.
I
really
heard
similar.
moose the other day.
Oh, did you?
They said it's definitely a tan moose. So that's interesting.
You don't think it looks like either black bear?
I think it looks a lot like black bear.
You do,
doesn't it?
It does to me. The pictures I saw,
Yeah.
but I have no.
I mean, it is different. To me, in my opinion, there are different characteristics that don't fall into the typical black bear. And it's not the color of most black bears. It's the color of a very few select. It's relatively the same size, but the colors to me don't line up. But that's just an opinion.
Yeah.
No. I get a little frustrated with people acting like, have you heard about that Justin guy? He says he shot 2 fucking Sasquatches.
So what did you shoot? What the fuck did you shoot?
No, I mean, I'm not trying to label it. I just, people act like I'm jumping up and down like, hey, I have an announcement here for everybody. Just shot 2 Sasquatches. Just so you know, so I'm kind of a Sasquatch hunter. And people act like that's what's happening. But
how much money have you made on this?
I'm negative, coming up on about $4,000.
So you're working with a new lab right now too, right? Are we not covering that?
I don't think so.
Okay, scratch.
We can soon,
yeah,
but not this soon.
Okay, we won't talk about that.
Yeah.
I've had a few. So I'm kinda...
No, that would be much more interesting to everybody else than everything we've covered. I guarantee that.
Well, just us accidentally stepping on it, I'll probably just cut this out.
No, I don't.
But anyways, the drawings. That is
actually you could touch on that. Okay. I'm being way too protective about it.
Why?
It'd be weird to have all this.
No, that's fine. Why is there so much secrecy? Do you think at this point? And on the subject of secrecy, can we talk about the next step in the DNA study?
Quite honestly, I have no idea what's going on with the Melba DNA study. I haven't been told anything. I haven't asked, so I can't complain one way or the other. If anything, am distancing myself from whatever that is. I have no idea. Don't have anything to say about any of that. But we've been working with another lab, and we're getting some answers and making some progress.
Good.
And we being me, and the other.
And who can you say who else, or no?
No. Well, it's not a secret. Okay. I mean, it's just I started getting my own curiosity about the whole thing and saying, well, I need some answers, and so I contacted a non-biased lab, just some private lab, and said, hey, we seem to have a good reputation. Can you tell us anything about that? That's when we started to get answers. That's when it started to get interesting, and I'm looking forward to bringing an end to all of this and being able to show everybody everything, because eventually everything will come out.
And this lab is not asking for any money. They saw something interesting in what you provided to them, that they've been
originally there was
grants, or...
Yeah, they're more or less working off grants from the government, which I guess maybe the Men in Black are paying for that. I don't know. But
is there an alien connection?
I don't. Well, no, absolutely no. There's no, because I didn't want to like joke about that and have it be like, yeah, Star Wars, probably.
Okay, because your dad seems to think there's a Star Wars connection.
There is. We'll see that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean they're Wookiees, right?
Right. Well, Lucas denies basing the Wookiee on Bigfoot, though. So,
that's true.
Anyways, Chewbacca aside, let's talk about the artist rendering. Before you say anything, the adult looks like a large hairy man, and the kids are renderings of gorillas. And those came. I'm assuming you had a sketch artist work with you.
Yes.
To create those. And now those have been circulating online, and the adult and the child, they don't look like related species.
Sure.
What do you say about that?
I agree. Absolutely. They look nothing alike, and I think I could make it more interesting if I tried, but I'm just trying to tell the truth.
Okay.
I mean, that's my opinion. I got no problem taking a polygraph or anything like
Have
that.
Are you
I
willing-
have taken one.
Really?
Yes.
How'd that go?
I passed.
Did you?
Yeah.
Are we gonna see those results?
We should probably film another one. I mean,
Okay. So I'm coming.
would you be willing to perhaps come to Sacramento and?
I would be.
Okay.
For people out there, I'm probably going to join Justin, and I think we talked about August. Would be the
Yeah.
best time
Well,
for you and I to go
The
up
second Saturday in August, me and Ro are going to be up by Gold Lake, and
We'll probably put a couple of extra people together on this, maybe.
yeah.
But it's small. I don't think we
Yeah.
should have. So don't fucking email me. All right,
Yeah.
dude. I talk to a lot of people. There's parts where you're nervous, and I can tell you're having trouble with your words. You got a little bit emotional. So either you're a psychopath, a talented liar, or you're telling the truth. I haven't made up my mind. I know you're not a psychopath. Otherwise, I wouldn't have let you into my house. I do believe that you believe what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I believe enough that I'm going to come to Sac, and we're going to go to Gold Lake together. And I know you're uncomfortable with this whole thing, and kind of, I mean, not uncomfortable, but you don't like the spotlight on you. So let's have a drink, and
Yep.
we'll do the next part 2. Will be coming up next month in a couple of weeks or so. We'll see. 2 or
Yeah.
3,
Like
4 weeks.
6.
6 weeks?
Well, by the time you edit it and everything, wouldn't it be
Yeah,
like?
it'll be 4 weeks away.
Yeah, something.
Okay. Cheers.
Yep.
See y'all later.